Hey everybody, I'm Tracy.
And this is Bim.
And this is another round with Heben and Tracy. Even though Heben is not in Heaven's seat today. So here's what happened. Bim got back from the RNC and the DNC. And she was like, you know what? I just need more madness in my life. So she kidnapped Heben and she was like, bam, I'm going to take over your part of the show. And we were like, no, don't. That's very mean. And then Bim was like, mwah.
That is exactly accurate.
Yeah. Alternately, we just like them. So obviously I know and love and adore you, and people who have listened to other episodes of the show also know, love, and adore you. But for those who are not yet on the I Love Bim train, who are you? What are you doing here? What the hell, man? What's going on?
I am Bim Adewunmi. I am a writer at BuzzFeed.com, the website. And I write about different things, culture and the arts and everything else. And most recently, I attended both the Republican and the Democrat National Convention.
Ouch.
So my eyes are wild at the moment because I have seen some shit now.
She's seen everything.
In the words of Dave Chappelle, I have seen some shit now. So yeah, that's what I do. And I am here because you very kindly asked me to be here. And I absolutely love film, and so I'm here to talk about something that I love very much.
Hey, well, let's get this party started right and quickly, as they said in the 90s.
Sure.
So as Bim said, we're going to be talking about Black film the entire episode. Sure, fuck it. Whole episode. Bim does a lot of writing about like the representation of Black people, Black women specifically, in various forms of media. And she wrote this really, really great piece on Black girl coming of age movies. And I think this is a great time to have this conversation because have you seen Stranger Things on Netflix?
I have begun to watch it. I'm 2 episodes away from the end.
Ooh, I can't wait to get into that discussion. But we're also going to talk to Aisha Harris. She has a new podcast with Slate called Represent, where she talks about the representations of Black folks in media, much like we all do. So let's do it. You ready?
I am the readiest.
Uh-oh, capital ready. I don't know what that means.
No one does.
I mentioned Stranger Things because I feel like everybody, and by everybody I mean like 2 people on my timeline, are talking about coming of age films because that's sort of what the movie is, kind of, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Stranger Things is it's 10 episodes. I think they're all about 45 minutes each. Mm-hmm. The show owes so much to so many genres and so many shows and so many films. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very possible to look at Stranger Things and view it purely through a lens of coming of age.
Right.
If the idea is that there is a large event that alters your sense of being and changes you in a way from being a child into an adult. Mm-hmm. And Stranger Things, I think, absolutely covers that ground where you have this life-changing event that also kind of marks your movement from child to at least adolescent.
Right. So a thing that I saw a couple people tweeting about, one being our good friend Nicole Perkins, aka Tennessee Whiskey Woman on Twitter. She was watching the show and it got her to thinking about Black girl coming of age films. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's because there are certain like genres of film, of TV, and just like certain like emotions that it seems like are kept from like Black women and girls. Like we're not allowed to just be like goofy and funny for the sake of it. Mm-hmm. She was trying to find like a good list of Black girl coming of age films and was kind of hard pressed to do it. Mm. And that reminded me of your amazing essay entitled Finding Our Own Coming of Age Narratives. You can read it at BuzzFeed.com, the website. And we're also going to put it in the newsletter. And it was a really, really great essay because it made me think about stuff that I don't typically think about. I don't know that I like coming of age films. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because my own coming of age was very like unremarkable.
Right.
And I just kind of don't want to think about it.
But that's also I think a very interesting point. I think for the vast majority of Black girls across the world, well, actually, I'll take that back. For the vast majority of girls in the UK and in the US specifically, which is kind of what I know best, our childhoods and our movement from childhood into puberty and beyond is generally unremarkable. However, the stories that you tend to find that feature Black girls they tend to be quite dramatic. So they're
traumatic too, right?
Traumatic as well, right? So you have to have it's not enough for a Black girl to exist and to just swan through life fairly regularly. There has to be some kind of traumatic race event, or
like a sexual
assault, or she's homeless, or she has whatever the hell. The thing is, I think Black lives in general have certain challenges that many other lives do not have. And I think they're absolutely worthy of inspection. But I think what tends to happen is we limit the stories we tell about Black girls. And it's almost as though you can't graduate from being a Black girl into a Black woman without a level of pain.
Right. Or that people just aren't interested in seeing stories of Black girls who are turning into Black women without it. You know, there's something comforting in that, like that image of like the strong Black woman. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
She's been through so much,
right?
And
she's still standing
on her own 2 feet.
Exactly, which is such a nonsense because a lot of the time, what it tends to do is not show you any vulnerability. So it kind of flattens you to a very 2D kind of representation where Black girls have a life of drama from the minute they're born till the minute they die.
It's such an act of erasure to do it that way. And I think a reason that happens is because that's what most people think that Black women's lives are.
Well,
and so you have to see images and representations that already fall in line with what you do.
Right.
Because otherwise you get uncomfortable, and God forbid.
When I wrote that piece, I asked on Twitter, I said, can you send me some examples of Black girl coming of age films? And they were like the usual suspects. So we had Crooklyn, and we had...
You referenced a movie like called The Fits that I haven't seen.
So The Fits is a new film. So that was kind of the central theme of the piece I was writing. I watched this film, and even though there was a level of drama, there wasn't trauma. So the Black girl's life was played very normal. She had a loving older brother. She had a loving mother. They were established very firmly as positive things in her life. They were not a source of pain. They were not, it wasn't Precious, for fuck's sake. It wasn't kind of like, oh God, which I refuse to watch Precious.
Can we pause at this point in the conversation? Sure. It makes me uncomfortable how many white people love Precious.
Oh God.
It makes me so, I just feel like I need a shower.
Yeah, I feel very much the same. There are some narratives that I think kind of excite white viewers.
Yeah, just like Boys in the Hood did.
Right,
it's such a realistic portrayal. Right. How did you know?
This is, and whose life, who are you talking about? The number of times when someone says, oh, it's basically, so Precious for me is a film version of The Wire. And how white people love to tell you they've seen The Wire.
Oh my God.
And you're kind of like, really, bruv? I'm not from Baltimore. What are you even doing? What are you saying? So yeah, it's interesting. The Fits was a very interesting film for that reason. But I think there are so many narratives, and the fact that we choose often to portray the one of pain and trauma kind of says a lot about what the world is happy to see as a Black woman's story.
Whew. It reminds me, so in Nicole's thread about what are some good Black girls go adventuring movies, I have a friend named Ashley who lives in Louisville. Hey girl. She tweets as Ashley Eats. Ashley with 2 E's. She says, that's tough. To have movies tell it, we don't go on adventures or come of age. We just come out the womb weary.
That's the most accurate fucking thing. Like you come up massaging your temples.
Right. Like you come out like, Lord, how am I going to feed these kids? You're a newborn.
Yeah, you're a newborn. But you're also a 40-year-old woman who's working 4 jobs with 3 kids.
And I also hate that line that I read in some novels, usually novels written by white people where they're describing Black women. Yeah. And it's like, it was as if her eyes had seen a lifetime of, she was much older than her 15 years. Be like,
which is a lie.
Be a girl.
It's a lie, especially because Black resolutely does not crack. So it's kind of like,
hello?
No, that's a lie. That's a damn dirty lie.
Okay, so I cannot name one single Black British film that I've ever seen.
Truly.
I'm going to ask you a very unfair and very generalized question.
Sure.
What is Black British film like?
Who the fuck knows? No. I kid. Okay, so in the last few years, I think we've seen a very interesting, not enough, but still a rise of Black British film.
Okay.
That seems exaggerated when you look at the numbers, but I think it's important to still count the successes that have come out in the last few years. And one of them is a film called Belle by Amma Asante.
Oh, I haven't seen Belle yet.
Belle is a delicious movie.
It is a delicious movie.
I saw it when I was in Italy, which makes me sound incredibly cosmopolitan.
Yeah, you're the fanciest person I've ever met.
I mean, that is my middle name. But I watched it. I went to see it with one of my best friends, and we kind of, throughout the film, we just kind of kept clutching one another's hands because we were like, oh my God, first of all, Gugun Bathoreau is luminous.
I can't.
Right.
I can't deal with her.
But also it's a film, again, that it seems to me very clear. It's written by Miss Ansage. She's a screenwriter, and Amma Asante is the director. And these are 2 Black women writing a Black girl story. And it looks that way.
My heart.
Right.
Because I feel like I instinctually know what you mean.
Right. So first of all, I mean, the lighting looks amazing. Like it looks like it's favoring Gugu and her coloring, which to be fair, she's not even that dark or anything. It just looks like a love letter to her. The film looks beautiful, but also there are some things that her character Belle says that seem to me to be very clear from the mind of a black woman, from the pen of a black woman. And there were a couple of times when when she would say something and I would kind of take a deep breath, or I'd look across at my friend and all you could see in the dark were our teeth just gleaming because we were so happy. Aww. Right? There was another film a few years ago called Gone Too Far, which again was written by a playwright called Bola Agbaje and directed by Destiny Ekaraga. And both of them are Nigerian British. And I think that was an excellent film, and that kind of had elements. It was basically a comedy of manners, which again is...
What is a comedy of manners?
Well,
that was just so elegant and fancy, and I have no idea what she's talking about.
It's a look at a very specific world, and that's the world of Black Britons. So it's about us, by us. Right, so Gone Too Far is... So those two films alone, I think, did a lot just to kind of... the fact that they were both Black women directors, writing and directing films specifically about Black people, but Black British people as well. Because I think there is a tendency, as I've said before, for Blackness to center around African Americanness when there are so many other types of Blackness out there in the world.
That's be maddening.
Right. And then on the smaller screen, you have people like Cecilia Mekay, who made Aki and Saltfish, which is like this web series of two best friends, two Black girls again. And they are funny and they are warm. And in fact, I think it's now at the BBC. So it's going to be a BBC series as well, which, kudos to Cecile. Right, exactly. So you have all these stories that are being told that are not just about the hardships of being Black, which is not to discount any hardships that you might come across.
We just need like a variety
we just
of
need more
other
stories.
things to consume.
Right, exactly.
As a Black Brit yourself, when is the first time, like what was the first movie that you watched that you felt yourself as both Black and British represented?
I don't know if it ever did. I mean, not as a child. There aren't that many Black films made in the UK. There was more representation on television, but even that was kind of paltry. Like if you, in the grand scheme of, Black people on screen. But I remember watching Desmond's.
What is Desmond's?
I think it was on Channel 4 in the UK. And it was this long-running, fantastically funny sitcom about a guy called Desmond who ran a barbershop in South London. But prior to all of that, of course, The Cosby Show. The Huxtables meant a lot to me. They just did. I used to watch that followed by The Wonder Years.
Aww,
and I remember...
What would you do if I sang? Had to.
Are you singing and yawning like Ashley suggested?
I'm trying. Did it work?
It did. It really did. I thought, oh my God, Joy Cocker's in the studio. No, but I remember watching, for example, The Wonder Years, and I loved Winnie. And even as a child, I remember thinking to myself, Winnie could have been Black.
Right.
You could have made Winnie Black.
Right. It would have literally been fine. It would have been the same fucking
It would have been the
story.
same show. Instead, you give us the same old thing over and over again.
That's
and then,
right.
of course, so many Black people watching this. I mean, we have no choice but to relate.
Right.
Which
That's
is
why we know all their fucking references.
I ask people, what's your favorite rom-com? And it's always a Meg Ryan. It's always a Meg Ryan film. And I love Meg Ryan rom-coms. I think they are excellent. Having said that, I talk about Sanaa Lathan and they go, who?
Right.
And I'm like, she's the Black Meg Ryan. And I get very angry.
This is not going to come as a shock to anybody. I don't really like rom-coms.
I'm going to take off my headphones and walk out of here right now.
No, don't. That being said, I feel like I recognize the importance of like Black representation in things like romantic comedies because there's issues of, especially when it comes to Black women, there's issues of, sexuality. Are we allowed to like have crushes on people? Can people have crushes on us?
Sure.
And I feel like and maybe this is why I don't really fuck with rom-coms. It's because most often they're Meg Ryan films.
Sure.
They're white folks. And like if there's a Black woman or a brown woman in it, she's the sidekick. She's the
best friend.
She's the best
She's
friend
sassy
giving all
as
the
hell.
advice. Girl, what you need to do
Yes.
is go back to that banker because I'm going to go back and take care of my 7 kids with my ain't shit baby daddy. And I was like, I don't want this.
Exactly.
I don't want any of this.
Exactly.
So if Sanaa Lathan is the Meg Ryan of rom-coms, of Black rom-coms,
Yeah.
what in your opinion is like the best or at least your favorite Black rom-com?
I think it's Brown Sugar.
Really?
Yeah, I know it's cheesy as shit.
Well, I mean, it's a rom-com, so it kind of has to be.
How dare you? But genuinely, I think in terms of being funny and cute and also showcasing Black people falling in love in a very kind of natural, again, just a thing that happens. And also the fact that Brown Sugar is about two childhood friends who grew up and then got together. And I think for so many people, that is the narrative.
Is this the one where, oh God, where she starts off, she's like, so when did you first fall in love with hip hop?
That's the very one. You know what?
I'm sorry.
You know what? I need for you to pick up your vomit.
I'm sorry.
And get out of here.
I've put it back from where it came from.
Please do. Because Brown Sugar is, yes, very cheesy. But you know what cheese is? Delicious and nutritious.
I cannot disagree with anything.
Thank
that
you
and
good
just
day.
said.
Thank you.
I love me some cheese. It's well documented.
There you go.
How I feel about cheese.
Yeah. But I think it's very, like you say, it's important for you to see yourself fall in love, because Black people do it every single day. They fall in love all the time, as much as white people and other races. And yet the narrative of what love looks like is of a flaxen-haired beauty. All of us are worthy of a cheesy dash to the airport to catch us before we get on that plane to Paris.
Oh my God, it's never gonna happen to me.
It's never gonna happen to me neither.
Rub it in my face like that. It's rude.
I mean, that for me is the high bar of what a romance is.
Yeah,
it's two things. A, love has to sound like, has to feel like a 90s R&B song.
Oh my gosh.
And two, my would-be lover must chase me to the airport and grab me before I get on the flight.
Are you in a trench coat and like?
I mean, maybe I am.
Okay.
Maybe I'm clutching a very cute, bag. And I'm like, what is it, Steve? What do you want, Steve? And then Steve makes his case. And then, he kisses me. He pats my afro, because you can't run your fingers through a fucking afro. And then we walk off into the sunset together. That's my dream. I just feel like, part of the reason why I'm here this week is to basically put this pitch out for my would-be Steve to come chase me at the airport.
Steve, if you're listening, if you would like to chase Bim down at an airport, please send us an email.
Not for terrorist purposes, just for love.
Very important. Just for love. If there are not enough good Black rom-coms made by like decent people, then Tyler Perry's gonna make them all, and then every woman's gonna have horrible thoughts about herself and sex in her body. We're gonna hate ourselves for wanting to be loved and wanting to have good sex, and then that's it.
I mean, Tyler Perry is, I think, two things. He is problematic, and he is also necessary, which is a terrifying.
Talk to me about the necessary part.
Well, I think that he exists, and there are audiences for his films.
Huge audiences.
And I think that's worth kind of looking at. I think a lot of people, and I count myself among this group, I am unrepentantly bougie.
Oh.
I mean,
you.
Facts are facts. I mean, it is what it is. I am a bougie British Black girl. It's okay. I've accepted myself. J'accepte.
And they're speaking French.
I mean, that's the bougiest fucking thing. Anyway.
Okay.
I think there is an urge amongst people like me to look at Tyler Perry films and to scoff and to roll my eyes and to say, Jesus Christ, this is shit. And then you look at the people who not only know those films, but love them very deeply. And I think part of that maybe is because they're often the only option. But I think another part of that is, I don't know, people fucking love Tyler Perry and they love his films. And I can't discount that just because I find them personally objectionable. So I just have to suck that one up. But I do think that his films are not great. They're not technically great.
They're like socially irresponsible.
And they are socially irresponsible.
Like he's got to stop giving women AIDS as punishment for like having sex or for having a career instead of a man.
And also the light skin thing.
Yeah, the most obvious, listen.
It's just everyone needs a Bible reading light skinned man to save them.
Everybody.
Every single Black woman on earth. It's not a great story to tell. But again, it is one story. I think the issue is that we need a plurality of stories. And Tyler Perry is welcome to exist in the world, obviously, making these kinds of films. I just wish there were like at least 12 other options for Black girls to look at and be like, oh, that's me.
Right. Especially like in the South where so many of his movies take place. If it's like either I have to watch Meg Ryan and identify with her, which, sure, some people can, obviously.
Sure.
Or I have to see a Tyler Perry movie to see people that look like me, then naturally,
Right. We just need more Black girls on screen telling different stories.
There you go. Speaking of different stories, check out this transition. Let's talk about Nollywood films.
Hey!
So I have to admit, my knowledge of Nollywood films is limited to the hilarious vines that I see and watch several times a week in my life. They look amazing.
They are amazing.
What is a Nollywood film?
In a very reductive definition, Nollywood is basically Nigerian Hollywood.
Right.
However, it produces far more than Hollywood does. It also has a range of production values. So the quality is not always great, but they are incredibly popular both in Nigeria and across the African continent. I remember reading a piece once that said children, I think in Tanzania, were speaking English with Nigerian accents.
Wow, because of Nollywood films?
Because of Nollywood films. Which, as a Nigerian, obviously, I was like, of course. Because Nigerians are nothing if not prideful. But Nollywood is a huge, I mean, it's a phenomenon. It's basically this huge industry of films, television, all this stuff. And they land every time. Like, they find their audiences and then they grow. They become these, cultural juggernauts. They're just huge. They're for us, by us.
FUBU, if you will.
FUBU, if you will. And the thing about Nollywood also is that because it's relatively young, especially in this...
How young are we talking?
I mean, Nollywood, I think, really hit like a tipping point in the 90s. I remember when I was at boarding school in Nigeria, we would have, some Saturdays where we would have Nigerian films and where, there would be a screening in the school auditorium or in the dining hall, and we would all go and watch. I think for many people who had been growing up in Nigeria at that time had only watched Hollywood versions of blackness. And then suddenly there were these films, and most of them were kind of quite soapy and had elements of the supernatural, perhaps, which again is what many Nigerians are into.
Something that I've always wanted to do is find one of the Nollywood films that are like people pretending to be like actual like Black American celebrities. Like I saw one with like Rihanna. I was like, Rihanna look different. This don't look like Beyonce, but it says Beyonce on it.
Yeah.
Do you know of, or have you seen, or does it sound probable that there is a movie entitled Meek Mill versus Drake? A Nollywood movie.
I have heard that on Twitter. I haven't fact checked it myself. I've also heard that there is a film called Beyonce versus Rihanna. And the thing you have to understand about Nigerian film naming conventions is it doesn't have to star Meek Mill, Drake, Beyonce, or Rihanna, but it's a catchy ass title, and you're gonna click. You're gonna buy the C DVD.
So I would assume that in Beyonce versus Rihanna, or vice versa, that it would be two actresses, one pretending to be...
Not necessarily.
Really?
Yeah, that's your first error. You assume like a line of logic that one would be that one would be playing Beyonce, one would be playing Rihanna. Not necessarily. It's possible, but it doesn't necessarily fall into place.
Oh man!
And that's part of the genius of Nollywood.
I'm all the way in right now. I'm gonna Google this. Nollywood Drake versus it came up instantly.
Sure.
So we wanted to play for our wonderful listeners a clip that is sort of like traditionally and markedly Nigerian.
Yes.
And you have a clip for us, yes?
Yeah, it's from Girls' Cot, and it stars Mercy Johnson, who is a treasure and a princess.
Okay.
And the thing that she says has become sort of a classic rallying cry, and I use it. I use it whenever. For example, on the street, an idiot kind of steps to me and tries to talk, and I'm gonna preface it now, but I've said it to other Nigerian girls and they get it. A Nigerian boy, everyone gets. Mercy Johnson is a treasure, and the way she says the particular line, "Are you all right?" Mm-hmm. And she kind of does. She exaggerates. She stretches out the vowels, and she talks with her hands and she talks with her mouth. But more, I don't mean that she speaks. I mean her mouth moves in a very interesting way, and her neck is moving. And she seems genuinely flummoxed. Like, are you all right? Are you actually all right? So I love that clip. And I think for me, that is one of recent years. It's one of the most iconic kind of sounds of a Nigerian on screen. And it's beautiful.
Okay, we'll start here.
With me all day, okay? And now I'm looking for my favorite piece. Are you all right? Like, are you all right? No, forget about your shiny suit. Are you all right? Is your suit all right? Get your black ass here. I need to search you. My favorite necklace.
The way she says, my favorite piece. And she says, are you all right? Is your suit all right? That to me is the most Nigerian excellent. It's like she's genuinely bewildered. Like, I need for you to explain it to me like I'm two. Is your suit all right?
I also love, you know how people will be like, when it comes to like Black American girls, like I can't stand a female that talks with her hands, which I think is fucking ridiculous because everybody talks with their hands.
It's another arbitrary thing. It's beautiful.
And I feel like this is where we get it from.
But listen, okay, as someone who is like, you don't know, my name is Bim Adewunmi, so I'm a Nigerian. Okay.
Right.
I grew up partly in Nigeria. And my whole life I have been talking with my hands. And long before I knew it was a thing Americans did, I clap when I talk.
This is a generational.
It's in us.
Like, it's us. It is in our bones.
Right. And so when people kind of go, oh, I can't stand, and I'm just like, you need to shut up. You need
to shut all the way up forever.
The entire hell up. I saw that recently on some dude, and he was kind of like, oh, I don't like loud girls. And I was like, well, I guess it's time for you to go because I'm going to be very loud and I will clap.
All day, fam. And what?
Say something.
Is your suit all right? I feel like I want to say it all the time, but I'm gonna have to just like lean into my countryness when I do it.
I think lean all the way in.
Is your suit okay? Is your suit all right? Because
I'll be behind you going, is it all right? Is your shiny suit all right?
Your suit, ooh, is it okay?
That's the remix.
So we've been having a blast talking about Black film and all things therein, and now we're going to continue the conversation only with a third voice who knows lots of smarty pants things. We are here with Miss Aisha Harris. She's a culture writer at Slate and host of the new Slate podcast Represent, where she talks about the representations of Black folks in media, and she's got one of the biggest, brightest smiles and the most adorable dimples I've ever seen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome to the studio and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. How are you, my dear?
I am wonderful. I'm so excited to be here.
You ready to talk Black films?
Oh, yeah.
You wrote an amazing piece, which seems like it was probably a pretty big undertaking, the Black film canon, published at Slate, where you and a bunch of other smarty pants folks like Wesley Morris, Ava DuVernay,
Gina Prince Byfoot.
Yes, and Julie Dash. You all came together and decided on 50 Black films to represent the best of the best that there is, right? We're going to put it in the newsletter, but we wanted to start off by talking about this piece and a conversation that I've been having with quite a few of my friends lately as I was preparing for this episode is what constitutes a Black film. And we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I mean, is it a movie that has an all Black cast? Is it a movie with like 50% Black people because it's kind of a big deal still, which is very sad? Is it a movie about Black things? Is it a movie like financed by Black people or produced by Black people? Like, how do you define Black film?
That is such a difficult question.
You're welcome.
Love it. For the purposes of this, we wanted to make sure that this was about Black people being able to tell their own stories. Okay. And I think that's one form of what a Black film can be. And, you know, there's a reason why we left off such movies as Cabin in the Sky or The Color Purple or Lady Sings the Blues. It's because those are films, yes, they have all Black casts or predominantly Black casts, but a lot of those were Hollywood studio films and they were directed by usually a white man. And there's a difference between making a movie with Black people and having a non-Black person behind it and having an actual Black person behind it. Now, there are at least 2 films, I believe, on this list that are directed by Black filmmakers, but they're not necessarily, quote unquote, about Black subject matter.
Right.
One of them is The 25th Hour by Spike Lee, which is, I love that movie, but it also is not about being Black, and there's maybe 1 or 2 people of color in the cast, Rosario Dawson being one of them. And then we also have I Like It Like That, which is a little scene indie from, I think, around 1994. And that film is directed and is about a Puerto Rican family. And so to answer your question, Black film, I think, is very, very, there are many ways to define it. And I think from the point of view that we were doing, we wanted it to be about the Black filmmakers. I think when you go talk about the way Black films are marketed, that's a whole different thing. Because if a movie stars Will Smith, that doesn't mean it's going to be a black film, even if his wife is black, and the whole like Pursuit of Happiness is not considered a quote unquote black film.
Yeah. And what was the one film where he was like was he like a golf caddy? What was
Legend of Bagger Vance.
Bagger fucking Vance.
With Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Who knows so much about diversity, as we know.
Of course. Well, he
he's
knows
now-
more than the rest of us.
Yeah, now he's in that
Great Wall of China. Jesus
movie.
Christ.
Wait, what the hell is it?
Yes.
So
Jesus.
it's a movie in which he plays the white man in maybe I don't remember what century it is. It's like 14th century China.
Yeah.
He's the lead.
Yeah.
It's like that Tom Cruise movie where he was a samurai. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
There are so many parallels. I look at Matt Damon and all I think is, are you all right?
Are you okay?
I used to love him. I don't know what happened.
Same. I had a deep affection for Matt Damon, and now it's just kind of soured into something
Yeah.
like curdled milk.
And it happened so quickly. Like all I needed to see was him silencing one black woman. That's all it takes.
That's
and
it.
I was like, all
That's
right.
it. I'm like, oh, so you're an enemy of the state. Good day.
Cool, gotcha.
Right. God.
So recently, John Singleton said that the state of black film is quote unquote dismal.
I was at that speaking.
Were you?
So I was at the 25th anniversary of Boys in the Hood screening. I think they had one in LA. I went to the one in New York, and they had a Q&A afterwards with Walter Mosley, the author
He's
of
so stylish.
He's the best.
He is. He was dressed very stylishly.
I just love him.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
He's light skin bay. Sorry. Carry on.
He also wrote one of the other movies on our list, Devil in a Blue Dress.
So good.
So good. Oh, Denzel, man.
Vintage Denzel.
Vintage
Peak
in a nice
Denzel.
suit. Hey. I feel like an auntie at church. Yes.
Lord.
But yeah,
That's the dirtiest auntie in the world.
Okay, so you were
sorry.
You were there.
Yeah. Well, the dismal. Well,
This is a professional
why did I let you
podcast.
ask the. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Lord.
She
gotta
said-
like at the end of like Lord.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. So I guess my question is, how do you feel about that statement? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I took a little bit of issue with that quote, if only because when he said that, he also put it sort of into context, and he said, one of the issues I see with black film today is that there is not enough personality or distinctiveness in what black filmmakers are doing. He said a lot of them are sort of watering down what they do. They're not repping where they're from. They're kind of becoming too assimilated.
What?
Yeah, and he did not
Bim's
name
making a
names.
face.
Yeah. But then I was just going through my head. I was like, well, Ava DuVernay has made very specific films. Middle of Nowhere is a very specific film and has a very distinct point of view.
Yep.
Ryan Coogler obviously has, even though he was working in Hollywood with Creed, that was still a very I haven't been to Philly in years, but people who I know who are from Philly say that like he got all of the sort of the cultural aspects of that film right. And if you are from Philly, you would know that. And so I took issue with the idea that that's the reason why the state of black film is dismal, is that there aren't enough, distinct black voices, like that black. I don't know what that, like, he didn't say that black, but that was kind of the implied thing.
Yeah.
And I just don't agree with that assessment. I do think that if you want to talk just about the fact that it still does feel like black film is not where it could be.
Sure.
I think that's a totally valid, point to make.
Yeah. Like even without knowing the context or a lot of the context, I was like, this is something that a black man would say. Because I'm just like, every day, I turn on the internet. I look at the Twitters and I'm just like, there are black women directors and filmmakers who are doing like really, really big shit. You've got Ava DuVernay, like there's Queen Sugar, there's this documentary that she just made. Yes. I'm just like, according to whose standards? It just sounds like either the movies that black women are making are not included in this definition of like black that you have, or you're just not paying attention to the black women who are out there making movies.
I mean, I mentioned 2 black British directors earlier, and they're both women, Amma Asante and Destiny Akaraga. And like I said, Destiny made a film about black Nigerian British cultural mores, Amara Sante made a historical drama about a black woman in the UK. If that's not repping where you're from, then I really don't know what Mr. Singleton would like.
Right. I feel like his standard for the thing that he's looking for is his own work, is Boys in the Hood.
If we're looking at blackness as one thing, what tends to happen is you look at a certain film and then you hold that up as the thing that everyone's chasing. Never mind the fact that things may have changed, or we have different interests, or we're doing just more interesting or different things.
Right.
And that, I find that quite, it stunts any kind of growth. If we're holding up a 25-year-old film as the kind of the height of greatness in terms of black film, then everything else will fall short automatically.
So we know what word John Singleton would use to describe, or has used to describe, the state of black film. I'm going to give you a very tough task and ask you to give me your particular word that you would use to describe the current state of black film.
I would say precipice. I feel as though things are getting better for black filmmakers and for black people as performers and producers. You have, obviously you have the heavy hitters, Shonda Rhimes, you have Lee Daniels. Can't forget Tyler Perry because he's employing people. But then you also, thanks to YouTube and just being able to have all this technology that's a lot cheaper, there's so many other avenues for people of color to create what they want to create and not necessarily have to rely as much on breaking out into Hollywood as possible. So that makes it promising to me. And you see so many, even on YouTube, there are so many web series and channels, not just Issa Rae, but you also have like Black and Sexy TV, which produces a bunch of different web series.
Oh, it's great.
You should check it out.
Huh. I will.
Yeah. So there's a lot of there's a lot of flourishment happening, and I feel good about it. And I mean, we are definitely not anywhere near where we should be,
Of course.
And
thanks, America.
Yeah. And me being the cynic that I am, I don't know if we ever will be, but no. But I feel good about it, and I think that so long as people keep, not relying on Hollywood, they'll be good. But keep bugging Hollywood, because they deserve they deserve to be taken to task.
That's been one of the greatest things about social media, like the social media boom and Black Twitter, is that now, like, when you insert our voice into these conversations that have been about us but have never included us, like the conversations change, the tone changes. And also, we were talking in the office today about Vine and Vine stars. And, now, like, you don't have to go through, like, white folks anymore to be like, hey, listen to me, listen to my story. My story is worth it. And I think it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. So your piece, the Black film canon, was inspired by, and correct me if I'm wrong, the whole Oscars so white controversy.
Yes.
If you're not familiar, the Oscars is white as fuck. White folk don't be giving us a chance. They don't see us, et cetera, et cetera. So we get left out of award shows. And there are a lot of people who are like, ugh, why do you care about award shows, blah, blah, blah. But it matters. And you talk about this in your piece as well. Because when you're, like, listing important films, like, people listen to that. People see it and they absorb it. So when you don't name or list any Black films there, people begin to believe that these aren't, like, worthy films or movies. Like, is there any hope there?
I think there, especially this year, for better and for worse, is going to be very much a return to sort of the year that Denzel and Halle and Sidney Poitier all got awards at the Oscars, where because everyone's looking for a way to say, hey, we're not so racist, look at this.
Right.
Nate Parker has Birth of a Nation. People have been clamoring about that. And there's also the movie Loving, about the very historic case with the Supreme Court that ended miscegenation laws across the entire country in 1967, I believe it was.
And stars Ruth Negga.
Yes. And so I think that that's totally going to happen this year. And yay, that's great.
Yay.
But to me, there's always this wave, right? Because it happens. This happened. Same with, like, Black television, where you had different strokes. You had Good Times. You had What's Happening. And in the 80s, you had Cosby, but that was about it for the most part, and then you might have
And it was
had
also a very conservative view of like blackness.
exactly it went the other direction. It went from good times, super super poor to super rich, and then in the 90s we had this burst again. But then in the early 2000s, and then up until these last 3 years, it was like a drought. And so these things come in waves, and I think we're coming back up on the wave when it comes to Oscars and recognition. And I think once we get comfortable after either this year or 2 years, it's all gonna like it could recede again. But I do have a little bit of hope because we have more people like Ryan Coogler and Ava DuVernay and lots of even Asian actors who are now speaking out more prominently and taking people to task. And I think that this is louder than it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And I think that, you know, producers are hopefully seeing now that there is money to be made in casting diverse people and funding them and representing them at the Oscars.
It's like Heben said, that after a while you just kind of appeal to the most base urge, which is to make money.
Right.
And it's
like listen.
Right. There's
You
cash
can make
here.
money
Right.
from this.
So why don't you?
Right.
Which is disheartening, but also just very, very honest, you know.
The real change is gonna come when you put Black people at the seats of the tables where like the real big decisions are being made. I want to ask a few questions about Black movies for all of us to answer. So let's start with an easy one. What's the best Black movie of all time?
Oh, easy.
Easy.
Sure.
Easy.
Oh, God.
Like if somebody's like, I'll give you $100 if you can answer this question for me. What do you say?
I mean, it has to be Do the Right Thing, I think. I know a lot of people might give me shit for this, although a lot of people won't. Yeah. But if you're just going to talk about, if you're going to check off all the boxes of cultural influence, of aesthetics, of storytelling, of just impact and emotional raw power and everything that Black filmmaking can be, I feel like Do the Right Thing is that. Now it's not my favorite movie, but I will say if I'm gonna hold any movie up to that standard, to me it is Do the Right Thing.
Whoop his ass! Take his bike! Man, you're lucky I'm a righteous Black man. Otherwise you'd be in serious trouble, man. Serious! Fucking hell! Then why don't you move back to Massachusetts? I was born in Brooklyn.
Bim.
I reserve the right to change my mind at any time.
Yes.
But you know what I really love, uncomplicatedly, every single time? Waiting to Exhale.
Yes. You know what? I need to revisit. I've never seen it as an adult woman. I was like 13, 14 when I saw that movie.
I urge you to.
We included it on our list, and I didn't really have to fight for it. I was just like, Dan, I'm putting this on. No one else that we polled like gave this movie, but I was like, you gotta.
It's got everything.
It's got everything.
Terry McMillan. It's Whitney trying to act.
Oh,
you know, it's got Loretta Devine.
Loretta, she is such a cultural artifact.
She's a queen.
Yes.
I hope he's not watching me walk away.
I love. It has Gregory Hines, for God's sake. Beautiful Gregory Hines.
Very sexy in that
He
movie.
was so
I mean,
sexy.
he works with his hands.
Listen.
And he can dance.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Bassett's going
Gregory,
on?
man, I loved him. So
Not
no, that
mad.
film, and then it has the iconic scene of Angela Bassett setting that the car on fire and then
Although-
walking away.
Although the even better scene, I think, is when she slaps the white woman in the office.
Listen, that was an emotional scene.
That is a gift for days.
I mean, I think I applauded at home and then I sat on my hands like, oh, I'm sorry. It was necessary, that slap.
Also, it gave us a soundtrack, which gave us the iconic Mary J. Blige line.
Not gonna cry.
Yes.
You sacrifice.
Besides the
Kids, I have nothing to show. Wasted my years, a fool of a wife.
I should have left your ass 1,000 times.
1,000 times.
You know what? She was like, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to come back. I'm going to leave.
And then I'm going to come back.
We're going to do this for a while.
97 more times.
Everybody is swaying in the
Raise
production.
your lighter. Just raise your lighter. Mary J. Blige, man.
That soundtrack in general should be
Babyface. Babyface killed it.
from beginning to end.
Beginning
from,
to end.
From Shoop all the way down to that song she does with Cece. The best
Count
friend.
On Me? Is that
Oh, Count on Me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that
Count on me through thick and thin.
A friendship that will never end.
When you are weak, I will be strong.
I'll be strong.
Helping you to carry on. Call on me,
Go ahead,
I
Bill.
will be there.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid now. So good.
But we'll get through it. 'Cause love won't let us fall. Count on me, I'll be there. A friendship that will
I think my answer, Malcolm X, Spike Lee. I mean, it was just, that was a movie where I watched it and I was like, wow, this is like a powerful movie because there were so many moments of just like raw emotion. Like when Malcolm X met Elijah Muhammad for the first time and he's like stooped over and his eyes are just like filled with tears. I was like, this man has to get all the awards. Then he got nothing. I was like, fuck this place.
He might have gotten an NAACP award, but
Well, sure. You know what? Not to shirk the NAACP
Not at
awards,
all.
But I'm just like,
yeah.
No. That movie was powerful.
it was so.
Denzel in general, I think, has this very underrated career behind him. And Malcolm X is one of those films where you think, I think he should have won at least 7 Oscars.
Oh my!
sir.
At least
yeah.
7.
Yeah.
At least. Like,
He
how
was
do you
very good.
justify not? How do you? White people.
I wonder
y'all
what
fucked
won
up.
that year.
What year was that? 92?
92, I think.
I think it was Al Pacino.
You know what?
In Scent of a Woman.
You know what?
Damn it.
I could be
Scent of a
wrong.
Woman?
I'm angry again.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Al Pacino.
Scent of
Are you
a
all
woman.
right?
Al Pacino, was your shiny suit all right? It look a little dusty. What, Aisha, in your opinion, is the most underrated Black film?
Okay, I'll try to do this quickly. I think there are different kinds of underrated Black films.
Okay.
There are the kinds of underrated Black films that Black people love, but other people don't really know about, or they don't hold it up in as high esteem. I would say Love and Basketball is one of those movies.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like, it has some of its champions. I think Roger Ebert was one of the few people who like really championed that movie when it first came out. But he was good about that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Shout out to Shaz.
Yes. So Love and Basketball, and then I think for movies that are just underrated completely in a way, or I feel like a lot of Black people or no one really talks about it, is Devil in a Blue Dress. I can't tell you how many people, Black people who are my age or younger, they don't know about this movie.
That is a
And
travesty.
I'm just like, really? That's
So
wrong.
sad.
It's
All
such
those
a good
suits.
movie. Yeah.
Ugh, did you
Don
see-
Cheadle.
Oh my.
on a bed
my
of
God.
rice. Don Cheadle on a bed of
Listen,
rice.
7 times on a Sunday. Ben, what about you? What's the most underrated Black movie?
Well, this is a film I saw very recently called The Watermelon Woman.
That was on the list, right?
It was on the list.
I think it's by someone called Cheryl Dunye. And it's just this alive, wonderful, warm, incredibly funny. It's just really, really great. And I don't think enough people know about it in any, not just Black audiences. No one knows about this blood film. I didn't know about this film, and I'm a culture writer. And then I watched it, and I just thought, Jesus, how do we get this film out there?
And it's super 90s too, which I
90s.
love.
It looks like a Gap ad.
It was made in the 90s?
Yes.
It's great. I heartily recommend it, and I think more people should see it as an example of goodness.
I think my vote for most underrated Black film, I would say Tangerine. Have y'all seen Tangerine?
Love Tangerine.
Tangerine
Oh man,
Great.
was so good. And I didn't even realize that I liked it until like the middle of the movie. I was like, wait a minute, this is really good.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar, It's a movie that was shot, I think, entirely on like smartphones, on iPhone 5.
A lot of post-production work, but all on iPhones,
Right. And it stars 2 trans women. One of them like just got out of jail and she finds out that her man is like cheating on her. The other one wants to be a singer. And it just like covers an entire day of their lives. One's running around trying to find her little no-count ass boyfriend, which who can...
Waste man.
Everyone can identify with that. And, it's about like their love and support for each other. It's got hijinks out the ass. It's crazy. And it's such a pretty movie. Okay. What is a Black movie moment that you will never forget? Or what is your favorite quote from a Black movie?
Okay, so one of my favorite lines is from a movie directed by Rick Famuyiwa, who directed Dope last year and is going to be directing the new Flash movie.
Ooh.
It's Brown Sugar. I know it's a cheesy rom-com, but I choose my choice.
Hey,
okay, I'm living in my
you can
truth.
Be yourself in the studio.
Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But there's a bit where Dre says to Sydney, I'm going to say this in my Tay Diggs voice. You are the perfect verse over a tight beat. Which is cheese fucking tastic.
Oh my God.
However,
if
someone fucking said that to me, I would mother all their children. Okay?
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, how about you, Aisha?
Okay, I'm gonna break the rules of my list again because for whatever reason, it'll be quick. These 2 movies were just a huge part of my childhood, and they were not directed by a Black person. Anyway, they're 2 TV movies. The Jacksons, An American Dream.
Yes.
And the Temptations movie.
Yes.
And so these things were on VH1 all the fucking time. And
They're probably on right now.
Yeah. And I've probably seen those movies more than almost any other movie in the world. So the first moment from Jackson's An American Dream is when Kate discovers that Joe is cheating on her.
Oh,
and she
yes.
she overhears him on the phone and she comes and she's like, I love you, Kate. And it's Angela Bassett playing.
Yes.
Of course it is. She was born to play vengeful women.
Absolutely.
Angry women. I love her.
She's like, I love you. You told me you loved me. And then she just goes into this.
She's like, you a lie and you a cheat.
Yes.
And I don't want you.
no more. I don't want you no more.
I don't want you. I don't want you.
You're a liar. And you're a cheat. And I don't want you. No, I don't want you. I don't want you. I don't want you. I don't want you. I don't want you.
There's also another earlier moment where she's like yelling at Joe for like torturing the kids, and she's like, "Go to bed, Joseph.
Yeah,
go to bed." And then it cuts to commercial.
That was just a commercial right there.
Okay, and really
so
quickly,
good.
the Temptations moment. I think everyone kind of
course.
quotes it, but
Classic.
it's when Leon is like, "Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis." As David Ruffin.
Yes. Ain't nobody.
My God.
Ain't nobody coming. So
It's a classic for a reason.
I love it
yeah.
when people on Twitter say that to other people. Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. Sit down.
It is better than Bye Felicia.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
It's more distinct. It hasn't permeated the mainstream.
It's not gentrified yet.
Right. Soon,
absolutely.
though. Soon. It's Twitter. Don't worry.
It's
It'll happen.
coming.
I'm the one selling the records. They coming to see me.
They come in to see the Temptations.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. You wish you could work it the way I do. But you can't. Because there is only one David Ruffin.
I'm going to go with What's Love Got to Do with It.
Yes.
Once again, Miss Bassett. And it's the moment where, Tina she's good. She's gone on. She's left Ike. She's, doing her rock music, whatever. And he shows up at her dressing room. Yes. And he takes out the gun, right? And he puts it on the table. He's like, oh, look at him now, huh? Not what he says at all. But he just sounds like an uncle. He's like, you see that? You see that? And she's like,
Oh, my God.
she's like, what you gonna do with that, Ike, huh? Hit me? Pistol whip me? And the way that she said pistol whip, I was just like, he's not gonna pistol whip you. You better stand up to that man. You better do it.
So what do you want to do? I don't know. Shoot me? Pistol with me?
How that woman does not have a friggin' Oscar yet.
It's a travesty.
Insane.
Angela Bassett.
Insane.
Angela Bassett.
Angela fucking Bassett.
Miss Angela Bassett to you, Hollywood.
She just no respect to
It's
her.
upsetting.
Her arms alone should have an Oscar.
My God.
Like,
She's just consistently moisturized for 25 years.
Right.
Who? How? I love my mother, but I would make her my second mother. I would. She'd be my second mother.
I want her to be my auntie.
Aisha, this was so much fun. Thank you for stopping by. Where can people find you and your work in your new bright, shiny podcast?
Yes, so Represent is on iTunes, Stitcher, and all those other wonderful places that you can get podcasts. And I'm on Twitter at Crafting My Style. And also we have a Facebook page for Represent at Slate Represent. Same for Twitter.
We will put Aisha's fantastic Slate article, The Black Film Canon, in our newsletter. So if you're not signed up, go to www.buzzfeed.com/anotherround/newsletter. We could have done this for 78 more hours. Bim and I are going to get together to watch Nollywood movies. You are officially invited.
Ooh, yes, please.
Yes.
Excellent.
Hey, Bim, guess what time it is?
What time is it, Tracy?
It's time to buy around for someone or something that you really like, that you think doesn't get enough shine in life. Oh, turn up.
Yes.
Hey. That was beautiful. Would you like to buy around first, since you're our esteemed guest?
I think I would. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
I would like to buy around for, and excuse me if I cry,
Oh,
I'd like to buy around for Marks and Spencer.
who are those people, girl? I don't know.
They are a department store in the UK.
Oh, I thought they were.
I just miss Marks and Spencer so much.
I was like, who is Spencer, girl? Where did he go?
The love of my life. No. If you're
Marks and
listening,
Spencer.
Spencer, come back. I love
You
no.
come and chase Bim at an airport this instant.
No, Marks and Spencer is a department store in the UK that has all the things. It has the best biscuits, the best socks.
Wait, hold on, wait.
No, British biscuits. Don't get all excited.
I know, but there's food at, when you say department store,
they sell everything.
including food.
Everything. The Marks and Spencer food hall is an icon.
You have to explain stuff to me in dumb American terms.
Sure, happy to.
Is this like the food court in IKEA?
No. Oh, I'm so sad you think
Oh my
that.
gosh! First of all, there's a lot of trash in IKEA, but those meatballs, whether they're horse or not, are delicious.
Oh my God.
It's good. It's good.
I mean, I like the food hall in IKEA, but the Marks and Spencer food hall is about $1 million.
It's like actual food.
It's actual. It's like a grocery store.
Oh,
But it's everything, and it's wonderful, and it's actually quite reasonably priced. And I know I sound like their PR, but I swear I am not. I just really miss them, because last week I went to try on some bras in shops in America. And your underwear situation in this country is dire.
Go off. Tell me about it.
Dire. Also, the sizing is different. So I walked in there very happily. Hi. Hello. I'm looking for a bra in 32E. And then they handed me a 34 double triple fucking D. And I was like, nah. I said 32E, but it didn't work.
What?
So in that moment, I felt like sliding, like doing a wall slide and just crying for Marks and Spencer, because when I go into Marks and Spencer, a nice lady called Doris, who has a tape measure around her neck, measures my chest and then gives me the bra I need. And it's reasonably priced and it's comfortable as hell. And I walk out with my chest, just amply supported. My back is straighter.
Right.
I walk out, I feel like, like I'm in a photo shoot, like it's a wind machine. And here, instead, I'm sweating in some shop. And they're bringing me the wrong fucking bra size. And in that moment, I miss Marks and Spencer more than I missed my mom.
Aww.
And I was like, take me back to England. All I know is I miss Marks and Spencer. And so I'm buying them around today because they have been there for me from the time I was a child to adulthood. And if I could, it's the one store I would bring to this country. But who are you buying around for?
Not who, my fair Bim, but what? What? As I smack, as I cluck my tongue, it's how you know it's real. I am buying around for Thai iced tea.
What is Thai iced tea, please?
I'm so glad that you asked. So, typically, I don't fuck with tea this far north of the Mason-Dixon because it's all terrible. East Coast, Northerners, your tea is complete trash. Your iced tea is complete trash.
I feel like that's racist, but I'm going to let it slide.
Sometimes the truth hurts. My biggest beef with iced tea is that it's not, I mean, as a Southerner, my tea has to be like syrupy sweet. Like that, like I should go check my blood sugar after this because I might have diabetes type sweet. And even the sweet tea up here is just sad. It's just a cup of frowns and tears, right?
Oh my God.
So, Thai food, like Thai restaurants, they serve tea. It's, first of all, it's pretty. Like the color is like this bright, like orangey, but like reddish with like little gold flecks in it. It's beautiful. It's so pretty.
Aesthetically, it's pleasing to you.
It's very aesthetically pleasing. Right. And it's got all these like spices in them. I don't know nothing about spices. I can't cook. I don't know what it is. But it tastes like tea, but it also tastes like something so much better than tea. And it's sweet and it's cold. I kind of want to go get some right now.
Let's do it. Let's go and get some Thai iced tea.
Show. Bye. Bim, we did it. Yay. How do you feel?
I feel fantastic. I feel energized. My skin is moisturized. My credit's better. I'm so happy to be here.
Wait. You're better off than I am.
See another round magic.
Well, we need to talk about my credit another round, team. What the hell? Thank you so much to Aisha Harris. It was late for stopping by and talking movies with us. Bim, thank you for being my second official guest co-host.
Hey!
It was a fantastic experience.
It was wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I will love to come back.
Where can the people find you and your work?
They can find me at BuzzFeed.com, the website, and they can find me on a newsletter that I should write more often called The Fuck Is This? And that's on Tiny Letter.
And are you on the Twitters as well?
I am on the Twitters. I am at BIMADEW.
You can find me on Twitter at Rookie McPoverty because I don't have any money. Heben, you can find on Twitter at Heben Rants. That's Heaven spelled like the place in the sky, and rants as the thing that Donald Trump is probably doing right now as we speak. This episode was produced by the Pod Squad. This episode was produced by Eleanor Kagan, Julia Furlan, and Antonia Cerejito with production help from Meg Kramer. Thank you to Paul Ruest at Argo Studios, who I have not seen in forever. It's always so good to see him. Thank you to our in-house musicians, Miss Jean Gray. You can follow her on Twitter at Jean Greasy, and Don Will of the Almighty Tanya Morgan, which is a rap group. I've learned lately that people think that Tanya Morgan is a person. It makes total sense. It's my fault for not being very detailed. You can follow him on Twitter at Don Will. You can follow us on Twitter at Another Round. You can find us on Facebook at Another Round. You can email us at anotherround@buzzfeed.com. For the 57th time, please sign up for our newsletter. It's so good. The address where you can sign up is buzzfeed.com/anotherround/newsletter. We have merch. You can get a coffee mug. You can get an Another Round t-shirt if you go to shop.buzzfeed.com. We're taking another vacation this month, but we will be back soon with all new episodes. We promise. We love you. We mean it. Drink some water, take your meds, call your person. Bim, do you have any good take care of yourself advice to give people?
It's twofold.
Okay.
One, soak your feet.
Oh.
It's so hard just walking anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
What should they soak them in? Just
Epsom
water?
salts. It's just beautiful.
I don't know what Epsom salts do, but I
mean, shout out to google.com. It's amazing. Epsom salts are amazing.
Okay.
So that's one. And then the second thing, because I'm a stereotypical British person, is have a cup of tea. Hot tea, not hot sweet tea, not iced tea.
You didn't have to say it
A hot cup of tea. And not microwave water, kettle water.
What's the difference?
Oh my sweet Lord. You put the kettle on.
Who has a kettle?
Oh my God. I am so offended.
I don't own a tea kettle. I will.
You know what?
I'll think about getting a tea kettle.
Shut this whole thing down.
Okay. The lights just went out. Everybody's gone. Goodbye forever. Everybody drink some tea. Are you okay? Are you all right?
Is your
you
shiny
gonna be okay.
suit all right?
Look at your suit. Are you good? Look at your damn suit. He was such a cat daddy.
That's his life. That's the life he chose.
A cat daddy stealing people's jewelry.
They exist across the spectrum. They're in Washington. They're in the South. They're in Nigeria. Cat daddies live everywhere. Worldwide.
Cat daddies. That would be a great documentary.
Wouldn't it? Cat daddies of the world.
The international.
All
cat
these men
daddy.
in their shining suits.
Are they okay?